continue the series of the great rabbis of yesteryear. Now, Yud Gimel Tishrei, which is going to be in the next couple of days, 13th of Tishrei, will mark the Hilula of a famous Moroccan rabbi, Rabbi Yitzchak Suissa, Zecher Tzadik Libracha. Now, he was born in English year 1877, and he passed away in 1954, respectively. We're talking about 71 years ago here from the time of recording. Now, he came from great rabbinic auspices. His father's name was Rav Moshe Suissa, and his mother's name was Rabbanit Miriam. He was born around the year 1877 in Tiznit, I believe, and this was quite close to Ajdir in Morocco, respectively. Now, he would learn Torah under auspices of his father, Hacham Moshe Suissa, and really grow up with great Torah and would be nurtured into great Talmid Chacham with great Yirat Shamayim in of itself, and would know the great wisdom and the righteousness of the rabbis in of itself. Now, great humility, he was, I think he would start educating younger people. I mean, people for their bar mitzvah, if I'm not mistaken, he was reported over. He would prepare boys for the bar mitzvah, I think, while he was still at a youngish age. That would already be. And then he would go, I think, various different kihilot in of itself. I'll say what it says over here in Hebrew. Describing him, גדל בתורה בריאה והיה לתלמיד חכם, הנודע בחוכמתו ובצדקתו, בצניעותו הרבה, היה מלמד נערים לבר מצווה, ומסייע לבני קהילתו, הוא traveled to various different קהילות בעצות טובות ופתרון חלומותיהם. And I think he would give out good advice to various people in different congregations of them. היה לו זיכרון מופלא, והוא ידע למדוד בבעל פה. He had a great memory and was able to learn much of the Torah בעל פה, totally. ועמיק בתורה הנגלה והנסתר. It would really go to the depth of studying Torah in of itself. And I think come with the year 1933, I think sadly his first wife passed away. So I think at that stage in time, he would have been about 56 years of age. I think he had two daughters there. I think later on he would move to Casablanca. Then, and I think not a few years later, not around 1935, he got married to Marat Sultana, I believe, and they would have, I think, three daughters. Also, it's reported over. Now, unfortunately, he did suffer from some sufferings, body sufferings, let's just say, in of itself, and that caused him pain, unfortunately, and. Yeah, that really that was very, very tough in of itself. Rabbi Yitzchak Suissa, I'm reading the Hayomi website, hayomi.org.il website. Rabbi Yitzchak Suissa, Savel Yisurei Haguf, Vaya Mitzta'er Im Kol Ze Osiv V'Sigef Atzmo B'Tzomot. He would still take on fast upon himself. Hu lo nehene min hatzibur. He didn't want to take benefit from the congregation in itself. V'Sarab lekabel melgat limudim meyeshiva. He would be learning constantly, but he'd refuse to take a let's say a salary or so on. Vaya matmid b'limudo. He would be learning constantly. Also, shelo al manat lekabel tzchar. He was just really learning constantly the whole time, and was like a beacon, let's just say in itself. Now, I think after some years he would have a son, but I think sadly his son passed away 8 days, I believe, after he was born. Very, very obviously caused him great distress. And he would start writing his book, the Viizr'a Yitzchak, over there. And I think partly while he was writing this book, I think he did suffer from eyesight loss also. I'm not sure if it was partial or not. And this book was, he would continue writing this book despite, and I think it would come out in the year 1951. This would include, I think, it will contain various different sermons connected to the weekly Torah portions and on the various different chapters of the Torah, Nevi'im and Ketuvim, the Pirkei Tanakh, respectively. He would also bring some of the Torah of his brother, also Rav Mordechai Suissa, who was another famous rabbi, I believe, and he would bring also at the end of this book, a Tfilat Bakasha also. And I think part of it was written in manuscript form, if I'm not mistaken. He would also continue to write more books, and I think at the time he passed away, before the next book, he sadly passed away at that point in time. And I think Yud Gimel Tishrei marks his Hilula. 1954 he passed away, 71 years ago. And I think his funeral procession was in Casablanca, if I'm not mistaken. And remember, Casablanca in that stage in time, 1954, had a great Torah Jewish community in of itself. It's a place that we've spoken about on various occasions before here on this series. Now, friends, let's explore a few of the highlights from his books. he had great books. That's without a doubt. We spoke about before. Most notably, the book's name was Viezra Yitzchak, which I would recommend everyone to actually look into. And it's always good to speak about rabbis from Casablanca. We've maybe spoken in this series about. He was also from various other places, also from Tiznit. We've already probably spoken about in this series about a dozen rabbis from those areas, respectively, without a doubt. So that is something I would definitely, recommend everyone to look into. So a few of the highlights from his book. So one of the teachings that he gives over, I believe, in page 25 in Amud Aleph of the ויזרע יצחק, מלמד אם לא עכשיו שילמד לאחרים בעת בחורתו שאינו יודע איתו. This is one of the teachings he gives away. Another teaching in page number 35 of it says, מלמד רמז היה לי כי נמשכה הגלות עד שיתוקנו אותיות הווי. This is another teaching, another important teaching. מלמד שאם אין בידו רק דבר שפתיים, מחסרים לו מהשפע הראוי לו. This actually comes from, I think, page number 7, Amud Aleph of the book itself, respectively, by ויזרע יצחק. מלמד שלא יעשו הפיוטים עיקר להתפלל במרוצה ובדילוג אותיות. This comes from Daf Aleph, page Amud Aleph, also from the ויזרע יצחק. Another teaching, מלמד גמלתו הוא טוב במה שמברך מהלך הטוב שנובעו בערב שבת. This comes, I think, from page 25, Amud Bet of ויזרע יצחק, respectively. And one last teaching here, מלמד תורה תחת חבורה, להיות בו ענווה יותר מבני האדם. The importance of humility. This comes actually from page number 11, Amud Aleph also. So that is very, very interesting. I think it's actually interesting. I think various different of his manuscripts, original publishing, I can actually see of the ויזרע יצחק, respectively. There's just a picture on the internet with regard to, I think it was auctioned at one stage in time, this book was. But I think the book was printed actually in Casablanca also, I think in the year 1951. So that's also very, very interesting that I have to point out. Remember, as I said before, Casablanca had a really great Torah Jewish community in of its time. And I think it was printed or partly from the Imprimer Universal. I think it was based in Casablanca, if I'm not mistaken, at that stage in time. Much can be said about, I can just to get the preface at the time we are speaking also. So that is very, very interesting. So it was a great rabbi of his time. I recommend everyone to learn more about the famous, I think the book itself was the original copy, if I'm not mistaken. I might have to double check, was actually in Kiryat Malachi, if I'm not mistaken. And that's very, very interesting. So now, friends, we're a community here. We are learning about famous rabbis. Yes, sir. Yeah. Now, if you descend from any of the great chachamim we are speaking about here in this series, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. Now, we are coming close to a staggering, at the moment, 7,500 subscribers, which is something I didn't really anticipate originally when we started the series. Please subscribe to the channel, friends, over here, and join our community. It is for free. I can't recommend that enough over here. Now, we don't just record videos of history biographies of great chachamim of yesteryear. We also will record videos on with great personalities, Jewish personalities, Rabbanim of current year also. That's another project we are working on, and we're doing so much more. We are just working hard. We're doing tours all over Israel, for example, and we are traveling. We are recording daily Daf Yomi tidbit, also a daily page of wisdom for a few minutes each single day inside this series over here. We record videos on the weekly Torah portion, the Parshat Shavua, as they say. We also will record videos on Hebrew month and the current topics also. That's another important project that we are working on at the moment. Another thing we're working on, because we're really trying to be an online encyclopedia of biographies of great chachamim of yesteryear. So another thing that we are trying at the moment is to explore what were the various yeshivot in these North African countries, Ottoman countries, that actually took place, Asian countries, Spanish countries. So we've been exploring what yeshiva there were, where many of the great rabbis were imbued and excelled in Torah studies. That's another important, very, very important topic that we are speaking about here on this series, which which I have to also point out. So that is definitely very, very important over here. So please, friends, we're about to come actually into Shabbat Parshat Hazinu. It's a second last parsha, Torah portion, I believe, in the five books of Moses over here. So that's another important fact. We're coming into the festival of Sukkot. We just came out of Yom Kippur, so technically we're in Motzei Yom Kippur territory. It's seen as a joyous day. Motzei Yom Kippur is, and important days in of itself. And hopefully more blessings from everyone. So if you feel we should include any of your great relatives that might have been great Rabbanim in this series, please let me know more information on them. Write a comment over here. And let's see, maybe if you look at the stories of the Tzaddikim section, maybe we've already covered those great Chachamim respectively. If we haven't, please, as I said before, please, we'll appreciate just hearing more fantastic feedback, and wishing you well, and Shabbat Shalom Baruch. And please, friends, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and appreciate it. And just another thing, we're going to hopefully also today record maybe another video or two on various different Torah topics. Might do a video with regards to preparation for Sukkot in of itself. Now, don't forget to build your sukkahs already. We're only 3 days away, so many people are on Motzei Yom Kippur, straight after Yom Kippur itself, would start building sukkahs. We actually built ours just before the festival of Sukkot, just before the festival of Yom Kippur, which is naturally a few days ago. So that's very, very important. So and just to say another word, maybe with regards to great rabbis of Casablanca, over here, I think it's very important we speak about them. There were many great rabbis speaking about. Rabbi Suissa was in Casablanca for a significant period of time. The great Chacham was. So that's what I have to point out. I'd like to actually just quickly find a list of some of the great rabbis that actually hailed from Casablanca, including we record videos including from Rabbi Moshe Meir Chai Eliakim, Rabbi Chaim David Ben Susan. I think he lived at a time period of when Rav Suissa was about also, which is very interesting. Other great rabbis in Casablanca include Rabbi Shalom Mashash, who would go on later on to become the chief rabbi of Israel. Rav Moshe Malka, another great rabbi spoken about, he was in more recent years. Rav Rachamim Ben Amara, another rabbi, I think we only just recorded a video about him in the last couple of weeks. Rabbi Chaim Raphael Shoshana, another great rabbi. In fact, I think it happens to be Rav Shoshana's Hilule, if I'm not mistaken, today also here. I'm recording this at a time period of 11th of Tishrei, so he was a great rabbi. And I think they lived at the same time period also to some degree, so we have to point that out. Also, another great rabbi that hailed from was Rabbi Yitzchak Chazan, another famous rabbi. We actually spoke about him a while ago. He was a great Dayan, Posek Halacha in of itself. And Rav Shimshon Baruch Ochayon, we also recorded about him. He also hailed from Casablanca, a great rabbi, where he I think passed away in 1990, quite recently, more recently, only about 34 years ago. But he was an outstanding rabbi in Casablanca also. That's what we also have to point out. So thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach in advance for the Jewish festival of Sukkot. Thank you for watching, and take care.